Thank you for renting my Teardrop camper. I really hope you have a great time. Few important quick tips I want to let you know about. The battery should be switched off when you're driving, and turn the battery monitor off when you're not in use. Do not attempt to modify or fix anything in the electrical area. If you have any problems, call me. My name is in the book, or my phone number is in the book, and you can contact me through the Outdoorsy phone number as well. Make sure to lock all doors and locks during transportation. That comes up to 7 locks total, so count as you go around the camper. Do not use the wheel covers as a step. They're only aesthetic and they are not weight bearing. Elevate the trailer stabilizers before moving the camper. There is a detailed instructional video on how to do that. They're located in the back of the camper underneath. Do not use those round ceiling lights in the cabin and the kitchen. If left on, they could potentially drain your car battery, and that would be disaster for you. Close the dome of the ceiling fan during transport, but it can be left on during rain. Do not travel with liquids stored in the kitchen. There's a tremendous amount of vibration. Spills could occur very easily and a lot of damage could ensue. The maximum recommended speed is 55 miles per hour when towing this camper. It is highly recommended not to exceed any posted speed limits. Adjust your speed appropriately for weather conditions. Always remember, you can disconnect and push the camper into place by hand if backing is difficult. It is extremely light, and using the handles in the front easily manipulated into the exact spot you'd like it. If you disconnect from your vehicle, always lock the hitch to ensure that it does not get stolen. Again, safe travels, happy camping, and I hope you have a great time. Hitching the trailer to the vehicle is very simple. There's a pin lock that will lock the hitch onto your vehicle. Using this blue key, unlock the hitch lock and take out the pin. You're gonna have to lift up and pull back on this collar to release the lock. And then once the hitch is over the ball, you lower the tongue onto the ball of the vehicle. Once it appears to be on place, give it a little jiggle to make sure that it's set, and then lift this collar over the ball joint and push it down to lock it in place. Once this pin goes back in easily, you know that it's properly set. Lock the ball lock joint onto the hitch. Oops. Test it before you release the key. It's locked in place. Cover the keyhole with the protector, and then that won't come off your hitch. Next step is to fully elevate the wheel. We're going to remove the wheel. There's a little pin release, and that just comes off. When you're putting on and taking off the wheel, there's 2 sets of holes. Make sure you choose the lowest hole as opposed to this higher set of holes. If you don't use the lower holes, it could get warped in transport. Store the wheel in the toolbox. Once the wheel is removed, finish elevating this tongue jack as far as it'll go into the receiver here. It'll stop, and then I can't go any further. So the next step on our list is to attach the chains in an X pattern. If they hang too low on your vehicle, all you have to do is twist them several times around, and it'll shorten up the chain length so it won't dangle on the ground. And you hitch them both that way. Next step is to connect your electrical system. This system is a 7-pin adapter. I do have a 4-pin adapter if you have that. There's a little notch. You open your little door here and then line it up to the notch. Give yourself just enough room with the cable so that it doesn't drag on the ground or get near the ground. Can't see it. Okay. And this little tab will lock it into place. Once that's all set up, start your vehicle and test the blinkers and the brake lights. Is opened by this pink key. Lock and unlock it during transportation. This houses your battery. This is the battery shut-off switch. It's off right now. It says 0 and it's in that red area. In order to turn it on, twist it so it's in this green area. This is your battery capacity voltage meter. This is the power button. Pressing that will illuminate and show you how much battery life you have. Right now it says 73. A little hard to tell in the light, but turn that off when you're not reading it. Otherwise it'll drain battery. You've got your cord for hooking up to shore power in here. Store your wheel in here. Use this if you're disconnecting from your vehicle. This will prevent it from moving around too much. This is your adapter, 4-pin to 7-pin auto adapter. And there's also a pin lock. If your vehicle doesn't have a locking pin, you could use this. I prefer that you use it. It goes with this black key. There's some tools in here you might need, just a screwdriver and some Allen wrenches as well. Again, lock this during transit. So the battery's on from just before. In order to control these gooseneck lights, press this button once and the button will illuminate. Press it again and the light will turn on. Press it and hold it and it'll dim in one direction. Press it and hold it and it'll dim in another direction. And press it again and it'll turn it off. There's a little cup holder. Tuck that away when not in use. We'll go up to the fantastic fan. This dial opens and closes the hatch. This dial will turn it on. Oops. You have to put it either in this direction or this direction, depending on whether you want to bring fresh air in or exhaust air out. You have 3 speeds. Keeping it on the low speed will use the least battery power. This needs to be closed. This top vent needs to be closed during transport, but it can be left open during rain because of a protective cover on there. In here you have some storage. Those are the electrical brains of the camper. You should not need to do anything with that, and do not store anything near or around that. This switch down here is for some under cabinet lighting. Oops, that was already on. It's also got a dimmer switch with it. These are the 120 volt outlets. They only work if you're connected to shore power. If you're connected to just the battery, they don't work at all. There's also a USB charging port on the side of these lights if you want to charge your phones. These windows work by pushing the button, the red button, and turning. Push the red button, turn, and you open all 4. Hold it open to your desired width, and then lock it into place with these tension rods. And when you want to release the rods, and it'll fall shut and close all 4 knobs. The windows have blackout shades. Pull it up, and then screens pull down and they'll lock together. You release it by just pulling slightly and closing them. You have a CO2 detector here. Always vent the camper when you're sleeping, usually by the overhead vent, but you can crack the windows too. But just prevents asphyxiation. These light switches here are for the external porch lights. There's one on each side if you want light outside at night. This light right here is, I highly recommend you do not use it because it's connected to your car battery. If left on, it could drain your battery. That's it. Accessing the kitchen, you turn these knobs counterclockwise and lift. So you've got your storage, some storage here, storage. The 120 volt light, outlets, again, it's just like in the cabin, they will not work unless you are connected to shore power. Here's the lights for the kitchen. There you go. With a dimmer. Storage, empty storage for you. The stove and cooler are not coming with you. The sink here. You can use the sink if you set up the gray water system appropriately. What you want to do is using these keys, find the key called panel, and open the side hatch here. Take the gray water tank, fish it out the door. Attach your drain to it. And set it under the camper so nobody trips on it. When you're done, empty the container in your campground's receptacles and fish it back in and store it under the cabinet. Do not travel with water in it. There's a fire extinguisher there as well. You can put your own cooler on this drawer, but do not travel moving with your cooler on the drawer. There would be too much vibration. It could damage the cabinets or your cooler. There's another one of these lights in here that you want to avoid using because it's connected to your car battery, and it could potentially drain your car battery if left on. So to close this up, bring the door down. What you want to do is use your knee or your hip to push it in to get a good seal and turn it clockwise. Do that on one side and do it on the other side, and lock these with the orange hatch key. Every single door must be locked during transportation. So when you're parked, put a chalk in front of the wheel and behind the wheel on each tire. There are 4 chalks in the toolbox for your use. When you're parked and disconnected from your vehicle, you're going to want to use the trailer stabilizers. These prevent the trailer from tipping back when there's excess load towards the back end of the trailer. So I highly recommend you use it when disconnected from your vehicle. There's 2 trailer stabilizers. You start by pinching here, and that kind of releases it, and you pull the entire unit towards the vehicle. Then that releases it from the locking mechanism, and you swing it down. You pull this down, and you telescope the foot down till it gets to the ground. It doesn't have to be have tension against the ground. It just has to be close to it, so if the trailer tips, it catches itself. To release it, you push that lever down again and telescope it back into the unit. You pull down to release it from the locking mechanism, and you swing it back towards the trailer. In order to lock it into place, you have to squeeze that one more time, and it goes right into this lock. Give it a good shake and pull to make sure it doesn't fall down during transport. So do that on both sides so the trailer won't tip. You have access to shore power. This is where you connect. The cord is in the toolbox in the front of the camper. Connect it here and then plug it into your shore power source. When not in use, make sure this is closed so that water doesn't get in there. And that will charge your battery. While charging, you might notice a green light inside the cabinet or hear a fan running. That's normal. Also, please refer to this book. It's located in the toolbox. I wrote down everything that you might need to know. If I forgot anything in the videos, it should be in this book. Otherwise, call me, text me, anything you need.